Measured effort that goes across Schmeichel, who's standing still and watching the ball hitting the bar. Fine effort. Cantona, Giggs. Oh, Cole! Couldn't get the angle on it, really.
Good header from Cantona. Ryan Giggs now 2 or 3 where he's just driven the ball across, not picking out anyone in particular, and that one was just behind Andy Cole and he couldn't divert it towards the goal.
Here's Nicky Butt to Keane. Forward by May, Cole's offside.
This is a cross, and as you see it, it's just behind Andy Cole. Tries to divert it. David Beckham, probably coming in a bit deeper, might have had a better opportunity.
It's noticeable that Beckham is getting into some threatening positions inside the Chelsea penalty area. And this is Cantona now. They've got 4 up in this attack. Here's Butt. Oh, an opportunity that was wasted there, but they'll get a free kick. Mark Hughes, combative as ever. Whether he's playing against friend or foe, nothing will change his style. Here's Cantona. Phil Neville. But to Keane. Sharp up on this side, number 5. Tries to get round Gullitt, who balked him. And then, while Sharp was still recovering, the Dutchman was away into the other half of the field, bringing the other Chelsea players with him. "20 minutes gone in the semi-final. Here's Wise for Chelsea. Keane intercepting a pass intended for Gullitt. Giggs now with Burley at his back.
I think it's in midfield, Roy Keane and Nicky Butt just winning that battle at the moment, making the interceptions and the tackles, and that's allowing then Ryan Giggs and Eric Cantona then to set up the attacking play. But they're both strong tacklers, and that's why I think that they didn't want to move Keane from out of that midfield area.
Onto the head of Lee, then Wise. Here's Butt. And now Lee Sharp. Beckham's up there again. Should be Burley's. He's got Hughes in the centre and Gullitt to his right. And now Giggs. Cole. It's a good ball to Cantona. Giggs! Well, whenever Manchester United want to inject some devil into their play, give the ball to Ryan Giggs, or even to Eric Cantona. The two of them so quick to spot openings.
Good chance, wasn't it? That's when I think it should have done with David Beckham there and taken it with his back foot, his right foot. Not easy to hit with his left, but his pace is causing problems, and a very subtle header, wasn't it? Cushioned header by Eric Cantona into his stride.
Well, it's fair to say, as we come towards the halfway point in the first half, that defences are definitely not on top. Here's Cantona. Keane's made a run on the far side. Cole and Butt are in there as well. It was Dewberry doing the blocking job. Spencer. Linesman's let Gullitt go there.
Well, they're shouting across at the linesman. That's, as I said, about the 3rd or 4th time Gullitt has broken that down. I mean, the flat back 4 of Manchester, it's a new flat back 4, and just occasionally one might be a bit slow coming up, and they're just not quite as rigid and sort of efficient as perhaps the one when Bruce Pallister and Owen, of course, very experienced back 4 are together. But up to now, the young side have definitely had the best of the play, and Manchester should be ahead.
Yes, the stalwarts are missing in the Manchester United defence, but the young men of promise are there to take their place. The Neville brothers. Here's Craig Burley, who, like Spencer, was playing for Scotland in midweek. In fact, wherever you look on this pitch, you've got a good chance of finding an international of many different nationalities. Ryan Giggs there in defence, but this is Wise. And again, it's like the metronome in Chelsea's midfield, just dictating the pace and the tempo. Here's Cantona. They can do that just about anywhere for Manchester United. Header away was by Lee. Here's Phil Neville. Still got Beckham out there. David Lee clearing, but only to opponents at the moment. This is Beckham. And there are some crosses coming in for Chelsea to deal with now. This is Giggs. There's another one, but it's over. We haven't mentioned that Alex Ferguson has a 100% record in semi-finals as the Manchester United manager. 7 in all in different competitions. They've won them all. Glenn Hoddle has taken Chelsea to 3 in consecutive seasons. 2 FA Cup, 1 in Europe. Oh, well played by John Spencer, and he saw Schmeichel off his line.
And like the idea was right. I think when you're that far out, you've got to take a chance and go for the chip without looking up. I think once he's had his look up, there it is. Schmeichel was already on his way back. It wasn't a good effort in the end, but once you've looked up like that, you give the game away to the goalkeeper.
I think it says something for Chelsea's confidence, though, that the goal-bound efforts we've seen from them have all been of an original sort, haven't they?
They also suggest that they think Schmeichel comes off his line quite a lot as well. They're all trying to chip him or loop him over.
Here's Butt to Giggs. Lee Sharp with the throw for Manchester United. Goes short in the end to Keane. They were queuing up to take him. Ought to have mentioned too that the last 3 FA Cup semi-finals that Manchester United have been in have all gone to replays. Here's Cantona. 2 against Oldham and then Crystal Palace last year. David May. Cole. Wise was jumping with him then. And this is Burley. Deft. Foraging on the left, Phelan. Burley finds Gullitt. That's meant for Hughes. David May. Steady header.
I should mention David May. He's done very well in recent matches, hasn't he, without Gary Pallister, and playing now in the centre of defence, which was always his best position at Blackburn. When he went to United first of all, it was at right back and never quite showed the form.
Well, right back today is Phil Neville, and here he is. But just hearing these names, or hearing one say these names, here's Cantona. Makes you realise how well the young players have done this season for Manchester United. Cole is in the middle of the sandwich there, it's a corner. But Chelsea have a player hurt, Steve Clark.
I think he hurt his leg on landing. Mentioned the young players, and I think that's more to do with the fact they've played in the youth team together. They understand he's already there, so when they come into the side, it's not a case of adjusting. He's a London lad, of course, David Beckham, not far down the road from my old club, West Ham, born in Leytonstone. I wonder how they missed out on him. I'm not happy about that, but still, he's done very well. And the Neville brothers, of course, Scholes on the bench, wherever you look. Clark, Giggs. This is it. Dewberry gets the header, watch the landing, and you see the ankle's turned over, the right ankle. That could be very nasty, and that's also not helped, of course, by the condition of the pitch.
Just gives me a chance to mention the substitutes as well, because Chelsea do have a defender on the bench in Erland Johnsen, as well as two forwards, Peacock and Furlong. And Manchester United named Paul Parker among their subs when they reshuffled, along with Paul Scholes and Brian McClare. But this is an anxious moment for Glenn Hoddle and Peter Shreeves.
I must say, looking at the way the ankle went over, I mean, he could have torn the ligaments easy there. He hasn't moved from the moment he went down, and if that is the case, who do you bring on? I mean, you've got Craig Burley, who's sort of doing the anchor man in midfield. He could play that attacking right-back position. Erland Johnsen, of course, would be more happy at central defence, so it would mean switching one of the three central defenders. But at the moment, they're lifting him off the pitch, and let's see how it progresses, but not looking very good.
They'll have to reorganise the marking as well from the corner, won't they? A defender short. David May is up there. Roy Keane's coming in behind him. Butt was there. Here's Sharp. May stays forward, coming in now behind Cole. This is Keane. Oh, and it was flicked on by David May. Got his head to it in mid-flight from Keane's shot.
Just diverted it safely into Hitchcock's hands, but again, Roy Keane picking up the pieces, and he and Butt in particular have worked so hard, and Chelsea haven't been able to get the amount of possession they would have liked.
Chelsea are still down to 10 men. This is Wise. Now Phelan. Gullitt has moved forward down the left-hand side. He's trying to stay onside, but he hasn't succeeded.
There it is. He's going to miss the goal. He needed a fainter touch, so as it would have just crept in the corner, instead straight to the goalkeeper.
They're just walking Steve Clarke slowly behind the goal at the moment to see whether he will be fully mobile again.
He's very much a right-footed player as well, and having gone over on that ankle, it's not one of those that you can protect, and with Ryan Giggs playing down your side, it wouldn't be the one of those that you could coast along either.
I was going to say, he's got to be at his best and his quickest, hasn't he, to counter that. Neville, meantime, has found Cole in an offside position, and Steve Clarke is signalling from the near touchline, and he's back on the field.
Well, he's got to give it a go. Semi-final of the FA Cup, hasn't he? And I'm sure if you're Manchester United as well, you would switch the play to the left wing to see how good or bad it is.
For the moment, it's Chelsea in possession, though. David Lee. And Hitchcock might have done it for them, but Clarke got a good head on it. Sharp didn't.
And there were two challenges there from Steve Clarke, but very good. One was the header, and he landed quite comfortably on the right foot, and again he went into the tackle with Ryan Giggs, so good signs.
Lovely turn by Giggs. Has the temperament to produce moments of impudent skill in the most hectic of circumstances, and they don't come much more frantic than semi-finals. Linesman's flagging, and it's Manchester United's favour. John Spencer was penalised for that challenge. Anybody's joined us late or had a late Sunday lunch without a television set, we ought to remind you that David Beckham hit the post early on for Manchester United, but Chelsea have had their moments too, especially when Dewberry hit the bar. Here comes Terry Phelan on the far side. Some of you might be watching with your Sunday lunch, but maybe not roast beef. Here we go. Here's David May. In fact, Manchester United's team diet, I gather, has been changed in these last few days for obvious reasons. Here's Sharp, and here's Giggs. It's a goal kick.
Oh, that's a bad decision, that. Michael Dewberry trying to let the ball run off, and Ryan Giggs sort of chased it and put him under pressure. He definitely got a touch. Look, you see he's trying to hold him off here, but Giggs has got round him with his pace. He gets one touch with his right foot and then gets another touch with his left, in case you didn't see that, linesman, but he didn't.
So, who says Manchester United get the benefit of all the close decisions? Certainly not then. And now Dewberry has gone down hurt after a challenge with Andy Cole.
Just a blatant nudge in the back, and just catches the back of his head. Dewberry's such a strong player at the back, though, and you know, can match the pace of Andy Cole. And as you say, I think one of the discoveries so far this season, an unexpected bonus, I think, for Glenn Hoddle halfway through the season.
Hughes trying to clatter his way through, and he succeeded. Gullitt is the player in the middle for Chelsea. Gullitt! Chelsea celebrate, and wouldn't you just believe it, Mark Hughes against his old club makes the goal, and Ruud Gullitt, who can do no wrong in his first season in English football, is the man who scores it. The defence is outpaced there, they're all having to run back. There's the perfect cross, it evades Neville in the middle, and Gullitt scores a goal which by his standards was sheer simplicity.
Well, it's a great cross on from Mark Hughes on his left foot. Just hangs there, doesn't it? Asked to be headed into the net. There was no way Ruud Gullitt was going to miss that, despite Schmeichel's brave effort. Whether Hughes made a foul on the Chelsea defence remains to be seen.
Here's Nicky Butt. This is Cole for Manchester United, looking for the instant reply. Keane, that's a good ball to Cantona. Phelan clears.
Yeah, the Manchester United defence, I think, were complaining because Mark Hughes climbed over one of them, he went down, which gave him the clear run on that left-hand side. Whether he did trip him or not, it's all history now, because the referee has allowed it, and the goal is there.
So Chelsea, the underdogs, in the lead in the semi-final. But a long, long way to go. And here's Terry Phelan, who's also got a distance to cover there. Oh, I say, he's running the show at the moment. Well, he scored at the very highest level, Ruud Gullitt. Indeed, this goal reminded me a bit of the one he scored in the European Championship final a few years ago. He's unmarked, though, isn't he? Completely clear.
Well, he's drifted on that right-hand side and made 2 or 3 runs where he wasn't actually offside. This is the long-range shot. Wonders if it is going to be his day all round, but just with the outside of his right foot, missing the angle.
Well, we wondered which of the overseas conductors would have the biggest influence on this semi-final. We talked a lot about Gullitt and Cantona. Well, everybody did. For the moment, it's Chelsea and Gullitt who have the edge, but this is sharp, and it's away by Dewberry. This is David Beckham. Phil Neville, I used the phrase clattering his way through about Mark Hughes when he made that goal. I did feel there might have been some impact between him and one of the Manchester United defenders, but we'll stay with Lee Sharp here. And that's a good ball by Craig Burley to Gullitt. Look at the space here. Spencer's making a run left to right just inside him. Gullitt goes himself, and he's still there.
Lee Sharp did exceptionally well there, 1 against 1 with May, thinking about playing it to Spencer, but then a good recovery from Sharp.
There's going to be a substitution. Steve Clarke cannot continue after that injury down by the goalpost. He tried to run it off, he hasn't succeeded, and disappointing for him, having had to switch positions today anyway. He's now off, and Erland Johnsen, who played in the final against Manchester United 2 years ago, the Norwegian, is on for Chelsea.
I think the goal has influenced the substitution as well. Erland Johnsen, a defensive player, which will mean he'll go instead of Dewberry, and Dewberry will play that right flank role.
This is Gullitt. Hughes closing in. Dewberry. Oh, in his new position, he suddenly finds daylight in front of him, and he forces a corner. Chelsea may have had to make a change, but they'll be mighty pleased with the position at the moment. Here's Gullitt again as he gets the ball from the corner. Now Johnsen is up there with the header. Just wondering about the build-up to the goal, Trevor. Mark Hughes here.
Well, this is where the ball is knocked up, and really chests it down, and the ball breaks, and looks at this stage. As you see, David Beckham looks as if he's in possession, and then does he bring him down? I don't think so. I think they just collide. Typical competitiveness by Hughes and David Beckham, and a couple of the younger players are arguing about that, but I think that was just a clash.
Here's Giggs. This is Cole. Yes, I think that was just muscular Mark Hughes, wasn't it? He's done that to so many defenders down the years, and now he's bitten the hand that used to feed him.